Want to know how Bitcoin is slowly taking over the world? Watch this video to find out exactly why Bitcoin just might be the next big thing to invest your money in. As chaotic as 2020 was, it was definitely a great year for Bitcoin. After a disastrous crash in 2018, financial experts believed that it was the end of cryptocurrency. However, the way Bitcoin has bounced back has definitely taken everyone by surprise. And at the end of 2020, Bitcoin was trading at an all-time high, and it's only going up with time, which is why now is the perfect time for the world to start taking cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, seriously. Unlike other small cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin has proven itself in terms of stability. It has survived 2 major crashes and multiple small ones, without its price ever dropping to zero. This, combined with the fact that Bitcoin managed to perform exceptionally well even in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, is leading people to believe that we might be closer to a cryptocurrency takeover than we think. Most investors believe that investing in Bitcoin is even better than investing in gold. Why? Well, because it's more portable, durable, and divisible than gold, making it convenient to use for transactions. Not just that, but 2020 has also seen a rising rate of institutional interest in investments in Bitcoin. What this means is that some really big players in the market have recently switched over to Bitcoin, which means that the crypto market is now more reliable than ever for the average investor. Companies like PayPal have recently allowed their customers to buy and sell using Bitcoin, which is a huge milestone. In 2021, this normalization and acceptance of cryptocurrency is expected to increase by a huge percentage, and might even lead to Bitcoin taking over cash as the preferred form of currency in the near future. What was once considered a scam is now being accepted as a legitimate form of investment by large corporations, businessmen, and retail investors. And when it comes to accessibility, it's pretty evident that there are tons of licensed and regulated exchanges in the US alone that let people trade Bitcoins. What's even better is that Bitcoin is increasingly being used to hedge against inflation and macroeconomic risks by prominent Wall Street investors. Paul Tudor Jones and Bill Miller, among others, have disclosed their positions in Bitcoin and their hopeful predictions for the cryptocurrency to do well in the future. But why are all of these people suddenly interested in Bitcoin? The answer is pretty simple. Regular fiat currencies are losing their purchasing power over time due to inflation, especially with the current economic crisis because of the pandemic. Not just that, but for investors, adding Bitcoin to their portfolio is a great option for diversification, offering the highest risk-adjusted returns. And with the increase in institutional usage of Bitcoin, its volatility is also hitting an all-time low relative to gold, which makes it a great investment now and for the future. But how will Bitcoin change the world in the near future? Before we talk about that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for similar content. Alright, getting back to Bitcoin. Considering everything that we've talked about, estimates vary wildly as to where the price of Bitcoin will land. Some say that it may reach $60,000 by next year. Others believe it might even break $100,000. But the difference is that this time around, it might not crash because of recent developments where people have now started to accept Bitcoin as legitimate. In fact, investors of all kinds are expecting significant gains from Bitcoin, especially in the next 2 years. But of course, like all other currencies, Bitcoin is obviously expected to go through some ups and downs. But according to the market trend, the cryptocurrency is relatively mature and stable now, especially considering the fact that it keeps breaking its previous records and stabilizes at a higher price every time after it drops. With all of these advancements, mainstream media is now also giving Bitcoin the kind of coverage that it deserves. Instead of dismissing the blockchain currency as a scam or a fraud, financial experts are now giving sound advice on how and why to start investing in this digital currency. With all of these rapid advancements, Bitcoin might radically change the way we perceive business and money. With the ability to transfer money directly between buyer and seller, the kind of transactions we use today will probably become pretty useless. And in terms of investment, a rise in the usage of Bitcoin means that we investors will be able to transfer ownership pretty easily amongst each other, removing the need to go through a brokerage. Sounds unbelievable, right? In fact, many people believe that banks might become completely obsolete once Bitcoin takes over. Their usage can easily be bypassed with people moving their money by themselves instead of paying banks to do it. One of the most promising aspects of this rise in the usage of Bitcoin is that transactions can be paid in large and small amounts. With Bitcoin and its blockchain technology, many experts are predicting a world where transactions could be broken down into very small portions shared by many people. And not just that, but when it comes to alternative payment systems, Bitcoin will fit right in with e-commerce. With the increased use of the digital currency and lower costs per transactions, we just might see whole new categories of e-commerce opening up. And lastly, the greatest thing about cryptocurrency is that it will allow us to cross the borders between countries and regions much more easily. With cryptocurrency like Bitcoin that's accepted throughout the world, transactions can be triggered between parties without having to do exchanges in and out of national currencies. This means we can expect people all over the world to start having more and more cross-border transactions simply because they will become easier to execute. With the constant increase in the value and usage of Bitcoin, it's safe to say that the digital currency is bound to have endless benefits and will definitely end up changing how the global financial system works. And while we can't anticipate all the ways in which Bitcoin will take over in the future, with all that we have right now, it's pretty safe to say that anyone who invests in Bitcoin will see tons of great opportunities pop up in the near future.